Hi, I'm Jay Bearhat.
Hi, I'm Baru.
Today we're going to be doing a little thing that we're going to try to do whenever we go and see movies that we're not going to do full Film Critter episodes on,
Right.
called Film Critter Processes.
Film critters processes or film critter processes?
Oh, fuck. It's Film Critters. Film Critters Processes.
Film critters processes.
Film Critters Process.
Okay.
Let's leave it at that. There we go. That works.
We got it.
We got it. Cool. Anyway, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. We watched
Ready Player
One
in full 3D.
in 3D.
Which, I don't know if y'all saw my tweet about it, but like the first half an hour to 45 minutes of that movie, I just felt like I couldn't process anything because there was so much on screen all the time.
The singular, like, most overwhelming thing I've ever seen in my life. I was too stoned to be in public or watch that film.
I was dead sober in the first scene where they go into the Oasis and it's just cluttered with pop culture.
Yes.
Like, not even like, oh, I want to catch all the pop culture references. Just like trying to understand where I am in position to anything on screen was like...
Yeah. With the 3D on, it was kind of just like, oh, cool.
It's like someone put a diorama in front of your face full of your favorite 80s pop culture references and then just shook it up a bunch.
I was totally that guy from that one Vine where, like, the lady vapes in the bar and he goes, wow. Like, that was the only emotional reaction I could muster to anything that happened in the first, like, 45 minutes of that movie.
And then once I, I feel like I was, like, reaching altitude
for
the film. Yeah. Like, once it, like, my ears popped, I was like, okay, now I can get into this.
Exactly.
And I got into it and didn't like it.
Yeah, so to give a little bit of a backstory on what the actual film's story is, basically, it's so, like, all of America's kind of a slum at this point in the future. It's like about 50 years in the future.
People live in these, like, it's like they're like storage units.
Yeah,
they're just like
tiny houses, but all dusty.
Yeah,
like, so they live in those, and, like, those are their sort of garage spaces for their various, like, unlicensed VR equipment from, like, various distributors. No shit, there is a HTC Vive in the movie.
Oh.
At one point.
I didn't catch
Someone's
that.
walking down the street with an HTC Vive on their face, and there's, like, a bunch of other, like, unlabeled, unlicensed VR helmets that everybody else just has. So, like, the main character, I don't even know, like, what he has. It's, like, some unlicensed thing.
I think, like, a big major plot point is he uses his mom's glove at some point, or his aunt's glove, because his parents were, like, murdered by the corporation or something.
Yes.
I think, so, there's, like, a part in the movie where he goes, you murdered my mom and my sister, and I'm like, there was no sister in the movie. And then I remembered as I was walking out, oh, he's supposed to be an orphan, but they just gave him, like, parents anyway in the form of his aunt and uncle. And only kind of offhandedly mentioned that his real parents were dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a lot happens in this movie.
I forgot. There's so much of this movie that I completely forgot about.
It's pure spectacle.
It is total spectacle. There was the only parts I remember where there was, like, a race part where it was like you had the 3D glasses on it. It felt like motorcycles were literally bouncing over your head. And there was the part where you first go into the Oasis, and the Oasis is basically their version of, like, a VR chat.
It's like Second Life or like VR chat.
Exactly. And everybody has an online avatar that is a VR avatar, and a lot of people choose licensed imagery.
I like that part where he's like, you can be really anything you want. For example, these five recognizable characters.
Yeah. They show a Hello Kitty, like, 5 minutes in.
Walking around. In, like, the final battles, 4 people are Battletoads, and it's this, like, weird thing where it's like... It's like, I get it. Like, yeah, in this kind of virtual reality, there would be people who are like, oh, I want to be, like, my favorite character. But I feel like the volume of people who are just their favorite character, also, like, dozens of tracers.
Right.
There's, like, so many tracers in this movie for some reason.
Oh, my God.
She even has a line.
She has so much screen time.
She gets more screen time than, like, she gets more screen time than Simon Pegg.
Oh my god, that's true.
She doesn't get as many lines. He gets more lines, but she gets way more screen time than Simon Pegg does.
She's always like there. She's like the Slender Man of like the fucking old videos where it's like, oh, she's there. Was that her?
Was that Tracer Overwatch?
She's in the whole fucking thing.
I was disappointed there was no Slender Man.
Where was Slender Man in this film? I'm trying to remember everything. No, so here's why I first initially fell in love with the movie. The moment that I fell in love with the movie was when they were doing the race, and and a dinosaur, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, showed up, and you heard the like Jurassic Park T-Rex sound, because this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, for those who are not aware. So you heard that Jurassic Park sound, and it was like the T-Rex wrecking shit and like knocking over all these cars, and there's this exciting ass race happening, and then all of a sudden King Kong shows up, and King Kong is smashing all the cars, and he's like destroying the track, and it just felt in that moment like the movie was just like, here you go, here's a gift, and oh, here's another gift. It was like Christmas morning. Like, that's really how it felt.
For me, the moment of, like, I didn't like this film, but the moment of, like, the moment of me, like, plugging into this film and being like, okay, I get it. It should be 45 minutes shorter, but I get it.
Right.
Was when the one character was just like, I choose Gundam, and turns into a Gundam.
Yeah!
To help the Iron Giant fight Mechagodzilla.
That was the sickest shit I've ever seen in my life!
And, no, in my mind, I was just like, oh, this is like when I was 14 and watching Ultimate Showdown and Ultimate Destiny. But like with way more of a budget.
It's been legitimized. Okay. The other thing about the movie I wanted to touch on, it completely legitimized all of the wasted fucking time I spent on MMOs and Albino Black Sheep and fucking E-Bombs World. I felt so fucking valid. All the time in Second Life, all the time in Habbo, all the time in WoW.
Just all of that just spamming stupid bullshit.
Those were valuable experiences.
Now
in my
Spielberg
life.
has
taught me a lot.
$1 billion to just do the shit you were doing in Counter-Strike like 10 years ago.
Most of this social interaction that I know to do and am capable of was achieved through Halo 3 team chat.
So you get that scene when they're running down the street, like, pretending to be Halos and, like, shooting in the game.
Yeah, there's Halos in the movie!
But they're running, like, and then it cuts to the kids playing them, and they're just running down a street, and I'm just seeing that, I'm like, they're gonna get hit by a car.
Yeah, they're gonna get run over, still, like Final Destination
Because,
style.
like, they start to imply that, like, you know, the whole world isn't on this, but, like, in that scene, there are still people driving on the streets. I'm like, okay, not everyone's in on this. These kids are gonna get hit by a car.
It implies a very John Wick 2 situation of just, like, everybody's just... In the call of, they're following their Call of Duty, no pun intended.
Everyone's playing Second Life, and there's like the one guy who's like, I don't got mobile Wi-Fi on my phone.
Oh my
like
God.
I can't left my thing at home. Is there like an event? Is there a raid going on right now?
This Pokemon Go event sucks.
There's one dude whose character is just a dude playing Pokemon Go.
Oh my God.
But like, so the other thing that's like really weird about this movie, that I liked. Well, I didn't like it, but it's like is like, almost there. Is it has this like ongoing commentary on the idea of like respecting original artistic intent and like appreciating a text at like, you know, like what it was given, and this idea of like how do you like have like complicated authorial like feelings towards something that you created, and then like how do you like live up to the intent and like decision of that and further iterations of it. And then they have a scene where they go into The Shining, and they use like the actual footage from the movie The Shining and like do some computer animation shit so that a giant orc tries to fuck the bathtub lady, and then she turns into a zombie and it turns into a giant video game level, and then they go into a room where it's a bunch of zombies dancing. And they're like, there's no zombies in this. And they're like, well, it's a video game reference. Also, there's this girl he went on one date with once, and then it didn't work out. And she's dancing with the zombies. And it's like that scene in Emoji Movie when they have to dance, just dance, in order to succeed on to the next part of the phone. It's like that, but instead of Just Dance, which I don't care about, it's The Shining, which is probably one of my favorite movies.
Okay, so here's my argument. I feel like this movie is a pig in shit. Like, everyone who made this movie was a pig in shit while they were making this movie. I think that when you have something like The Shining that is so mimetic and so influential, it is a little bit past the statute of limitations on being taken a little bit less seriously, I feel like. That's at least my sort of, like, complicated media opinion, but, like, you cannot, like... I think that a lot of people's kind of worship of, let's say, for example, The Empire Strikes Back, comes from this understanding that people are approaching The Empire Strikes Back who have seen it in the sort of perfect situation, right? Like, they blindly watched it one time and they got the full effect of it, where... For me, that was not the case. For me, that movie was spoiled by every single cartoon, every single thing I watched on television that said, Luke, I am your father, Luke, I am your father, Luke, I am your father, so that, like, I eventually watched the movie and that meant nothing. It was an absolute nothing. So I think, I don't know what my fucking point is, but
I think, to me, the only reason why it's, like, particularly just, like... I think I'd be more fine of it if the movie didn't have A, this weird contradictory message, and B, it's like the level of, like, you know, it's not like, oh, The Simpsons doing a parody of The Shining, or it's like whatever.
Right.
It's like, oh, they're like painstakingly created this from like the original scans in the film, and that feels like a level of like using the source material in like a really weird way.
Right.
Like similarly, it's like I know our friend Robbie was talking about like the Iron Giant thing being like Universal, like who made this movie, like basically destroyed that movie, and like that's why the movie like didn't do well and destroyed an animation studio. But now that it's a cult hit, we'll just like put it in this movie.
Yeah, and that's pretty rough.
And it's like there's also like the theme of like there's this debt collection agency that enslaves everybody, and so they're on the pulse of like, you know, debt's bad, but they don't quite name the monster,
right,
which is capitalism. Instead, they invent the weekend, and you have to not play this video game for 2 days.
That's right.
That's like I was describing that scene to someone. I was like, yeah, he's like, oh, you have 2 days off in the week where like you don't, like, no one plays the game. And then I was like, that's a weekend. He invented a weekend.
Oh shit. Oh my god. So this movie asserts that the answer lies somewhere, perhaps in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, not with unions.
And just
one guy needs just to rise to the top.
Yeah, just occasional allowments.
You need to, you gotta have like, you can't, you know, if your company's being run badly by like the Kmart guy, you gotta get in like the guy at Walmart who stopped letting them be locked in overnight.
Oh my god,
when it was a fire safety hazard.
Okay, so. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about regarding this film, and there's some very gendered stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot
all
about
over
this.
The place. So you have kind of the obvious thing where we're definitely spoiler territory here. There is a basically the buddy character for the main character is named H in the game, and he is a very very large dude. Who
very much like
a
bro,
robot.
the bro robot character.
The bro robot.
Imagine
character.
What's his name from Teen Titans?
Like Cyborg from Teen Titans. A little bit, yeah. And so he's this like tough dude, and later on in the film, as it's ending, all of the players are meeting each other who they only know through the game, and they're seeing what they look like, and H is actually a stud. Like a very for people who don't know, stud is just, it's like a specific black lesbian cultural like thing. Right. It's sort of a, not the equivalent, but it's like it's a butch identity. So it's a very like masculine butch woman. She's definitely wearing like a denim vest, like all of this really like.
She's got the like jersey shorts on, like basketball shorts, jersey,
like, backwards hat, and
very very oh my god, what's Queen Latifah set it off.
Sure.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's
not familiar.
I'm pretty sure the character I'm thinking of.
Sure.
But yeah, so she's a stud, and it's like it's set up earlier in the movie when like the guy has a crush on the girl, and she's like, you don't know, they could be a 300-pound guy in your life, and so they meet. Right. They reference that line again, and she's like, that's why I said that, because I'm actually a girl in her life.
So the movie makes it clear that it's playing on all of this past thing, or like it's still like I guess the thing that like you don't know who you're talking to online, and it kind of does that reversal where it's like it's usually like guys playing as girls, blah, 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 like that kind of thing. Apart from that, though, I felt like there was also something going on with the main character, where the main character had a birthmark over her eye.
Yeah, so the girl love interest she's like, you can't see me in real life because like you're gonna be disappointed, and then she has a birthmark over her eye, and his romantic line is, "Oh, I'm not disappointed.
I'm not disappointed. I love you just the way you are."
You got a birthmark,
which
touches her face.
Forgive me, in my brain, reads a certain way.
Yeah. Like, oh, you were born with this thing.
You were born with this thing, but you're still so beautiful a woman, and yeah.
And like you're stigmatized, so you have to play this like hot anime girl online.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're really scared of meeting people because you're not going to be what they think.
Exactly.
And then when you take your clothes off, you say, "Well, here's me," and then Jeff Jock goes, "You're beautiful." It's a questionable content reference for all of you.
James Blunt. You're beautiful just the way you are, Jason Mraz.
But yeah, so we're basically saying the girl of interest is a trans girl.
Hey, watch the movie again if you already seen it, and think that she's got those aesthetics. She's got those like something going on. Those like young transitioner aesthetics going on. God.
Which is a good rap name, by the way.
I want to steal her look.
Young Transitioner.
The Young Transitioner?
Young Transitioner.
Oh my fucking God.
Straight out the Informed Consent Clinic.
Cool. Can't post any of this. No. In summation.
Oh, and then there's the baby fur.
There is! Wait, no, there is a furry in this movie!
There's one furry.
And
she immediately betrays the main character.
She is straight up like a mid-aughts, like, cheetah vixen who...
Yeah, like the sexy, overdrawn, like, you can tell whoever designed her used colored pencil.
Yeah! Yes! It was such a Second Life avatar.
Yeah, and she's just like, she sees them, she's like, can I get a photo? And she just immediately emails, like, the bounty hunter looking for him.
Exactly. Is she, in real life, she's the one with the bangs, right? Or was it someone else?
I don't think they met her in real life, because she wasn't given, like, a name.
Yeah, no, someone said that, and I was like, I don't know how you got to that conclusion, whatever. But in any case, I don't know.
She's a TERF in real life.
She's a TERF in real life. Isn't that always how it turns out?
I like that the movie had its own version of doxing and swatting, which in the future is if you say your name in a video game, they'll find you and then they'll send drone bombs to your house.
Right. Yeah. So it's something like I don't. They were being recorded or broadcast or something. Yeah,
like it was the bounty hunter was like listening in on their conversation.
Okay.
And then like. The main character Wade is like, I'm Wade, and the girl was like, you can't.
Oh yeah, she's like, what are you doing?
You're an idiot. And then they just cross-referenced like everyone named Wade who had bought something in like the last week, and they were like, oh, it's this kid.
So it's they showed up to.
It's clearly this kid.
So they showed up to his house in real ass life and like yanked him out of the machine. They like. You know.
Yeah, no, they kidnap. So his friend kidnaps him, which saves him from his house just being blown up by the evil corporation.
Right.
God, there's so much weird stuff that happens.
So much shit happens in this movie.
Remember it's like that weird scene where like they trick him into thinking he took his goggles off, but he's actually still in the machine.
Do you remember? Oh my God, that was insane. Do you remember the part where the alien bursts out of the chest
of who was that?
Someone like. Oh, fuck, I don't remember.
Was it Zangief? No, it wasn't Zangief.
It was someone like that who was like taking him into custody.
It was the dude from Mortal Kombat, the four-armed guy from Mortal Kombat.
Shit, yeah. So he was taking the main character somewhere, and then the alien bursts out of his chest, and then it like unzips him.
Yeah,
and then it's the main character girl.
Yeah, and she's like, haha, I got you.
God, that
Tupac, two things.
Tupac?
Two things. I said two things.
I heard you say Tupac.
Why wasn't like the hologram of Tupac in this
movie?
Hey,
why wasn't hologram Tupac in this movie? Why wasn't...
Can we in the Blu-ray remaster,
why wasn't Gangnam Style in this movie? Why wasn't fucking Slender Man in this movie? Why wasn't
Harlem
Five Nights
Shake?
at Freddy's? And Sans Undertale was not in this movie.
People lied and they told us that Sans Undertale's in this movie.
Those fucking assholes.
And I did not see him in this movie.
No forgiveness ever. I did not see
Chucky was in this movie.
Chucky was in this movie.
That was wild.
That was weird.
But yeah, so Ready Player One, it's too long. I wouldn't call it a good movie. But if you get really fucking high and go see it in 3D, it's fun.
I'm telling you, it's the greatest film I've ever seen in my whole little life. It was a thrill ride. It was a feast for the eyes. It was frenetic. It was energizing. And the love story touched my heart.
I will say, I feel like most of the actors at least put an effort in, and that was actually that actually was surprisingly nice to see, and almost tricked me at the start of the film, because I was like, oh, these people, well, the main character is a boring nerd boy, so you can only really do so much of that, but like everyone else in the film like really tried to play a character, and like I actually found that really charming, because it reminded me of older Spielberg movies when people weren't just like drab and boring and like depressed, except for Simon Pegg, who you could clearly tell was pissed off. He was pretty all over the place. Because, like, his character is supposed to be, like, this angry character, but just, like, anytime he's on screen, you can just, like, you can see behind the character that Simon Pegg was just, like, got 10 lines in this whole fucking movie.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. I don't want to shade his accent.
Oh, it's a bad... I forgot he has the really attempted American accent.
Oh, man. But anyway, in any case, man, they made the main character a real fucking asshole, didn't they?
Yeah, he sucks.
He's a little shit. I really don't like...
I will at least say that's the Spielberg formula. Like, how often is the main nerd boy character good?
Yeah. It felt a little bit more human, I guess. And, like, I understood where... It helped... In a weird way, it helped contextualize where he is in his life. It was, like, a good kind of subtle bit of character development that... maybe wasn't even purposeful, or maybe, I don't know.
Oh, it was definitely an accident.
Yeah.
I will give the movie this, though, by the way, having read parts of the original book and this, boy, did they clean that up for this movie.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, I think that's about it.
That's our thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Let's give it, do people do number ratings?
Oh, shit. What do we do? So Rotten Tomatoes is the percentile, and that's pretty in vogue, but we could also do kind of like a pitchfork style.
Like number system?
Yeah.
Shoot, that's really hard, because it's like, this will probably get easier as we have a set standard of like how our review scores go.
Right.
I guess I will generally try to rank movies within like what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I would give Ready Player One as a general overall movie, probably not something I would ever watch again. But as a like, spectacle blockbuster film that I went and saw, it was better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Ugh.
And that's my nerd hot take. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, by the last hour of that film, I was like, fuck, when is this ending? Ready Player One, I felt like 3 days had passed, but I was like, you know what? It was 3 days at Disneyland. That's fake.
That's how I felt at the end of Avengers 2, but instead of Disneyland, it was like shitty world-ending movies.
Being stuck under a log.
Roland Emmerich movies. I would rate Ready Player One. I'll give it a 8.3 best new music, and I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was so in love with online experiences, good and bad, and really as complicated as they get, and how as much as they've developed. There was a little bit of everything in that movie, as far as like the things that I actually experienced online and just hadn't seen reflected in such a big place as like the IMAX theater screen, right? Like there's something about that that's really weird, and also I shouldn't give it credit, but I do.
No, I could definitely see that. There's definitely something to say about, like, because like I said at the start of this, like, it's the experience of, like, the old shitty Newgrounds cartoons you watched, but it's like a huge budget.
Yes.
And so, like, there's something to be said about that experience of watching something that, like, so perfectly manages to capture that feeling, but in this, like, grandiose scale that matches how you at 14 watching these cartoon characters tween blood out of each other, like, imagined it.
Oh my god, watching Zhao Zhao like 3,000 times. But yeah, I suppose that's our thoughts.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that's it. We just also finished recording stuff for the next video, which is going to be on Silent Hill. So keep it.
So we're releasing this as an interstitial sort of. Hey y'all!
Hey! We still got things going on.
We got things on the pipeline.
This is something that Brew doesn't need to edit very heavily because the other one does.
Yeah, just highlight, not delete in Audacity, and we're all set.
Highlight, delete Audacity, put some video on screen.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll figure something out.
Just aim a camera at a poster that's like slightly going in and out of focus.
Oh yeah, just like put it over my terrarium. And just watch the fucking grass grow.
I genuinely am in the idea of just the video for this just being something absolute. You know what? Fuck it. Just get some like action figures and just like put them on the screen.
It's gonna be trippy visualizer.
Yeah.
So if you watched an iTunes visualizer for this, however many minutes this is, God bless you.
God bless you. Good night.
Goodbye.